Welcome back to the San Diego Opera Podcast. I'm Nic Reveles, and my special guest today is Rigoletto, Stephen Powell, baritone. Welcome back.
Wow, thank you. Good to be here.
The 20th time or
10th production. I counted.
10th production.
10th production here. Yeah.
But how many performances in 10 productions?
Oh,
That's gotta
golly.
be- yeah.
Over 50,
50,
I'm sure.
Yeah, because in the early days we were 5 performances per production.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I'm sure it's close to 50.
and here you are
Yes.
doing what I consider, it's got to be one of the more taxing Verdi baritone roles.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Well, it's taxing in a couple ways. One, vocally.
Yeah.
Technically, it's a real bear. You have to really get it into your body and map it out. So just the way it's written, it's pretty high.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
pretty high for the baritone.
Well, and you've got moments like, for instance, in the duet with Gilda, you've got these long, tender, lovely lines, but then you have to turn around and sing cortigiani, something that's going to be
Right.
really stentorian and very, very active and out there.
Exactly. And what
Contrast.
Right. So that adds to the difficulty is that there's a lot of agitation physically, and I have to I run up and down the steps, and I'm moving here and moving there, and I'm hunched over as a hunchback. So physically, getting my body to be stable within all that running around and the agitation of my character, that also adds to the difficulty of the role. for
Yeah,
sure.
it's got to be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
That's why I love it. It's challenging.
yeah,
It's one of my favorite roles. It's because of all those things we've just stated. It's a real challenge. I've got to really focus and be on. So I like that about it.
is there another Verdi role that's comparable? I mean, the one that comes to mind is Iago. I mean, but in Traviata, Germont, it's not even close to
No,
what.
Germont is sort of a. I don't want to say it's a breeze.
No,
because I
no,
would
not at
never
all.
say that about
Not
any
at all.
Verdi. But it is definitely less physical,
Yeah.
and it's not as long, not nearly as long.
Right.
So the length of the role of Rigoletto also adds to it. So you said Iago, that's also pretty high, and there's some technically difficult spots. And I've done that, and that is a challenge as well. I have to say, though, of all the Verdi roles, in addition to Rigoletto, it's Falstaff.
Well, no, that makes sense.
Because Falstaff is so physical.
Yeah.
Most of the time you wear a fat suit, right?
Right.
And you're covered with costumes and you're moving, and it's the words, the text that's really challenging in Falstaff. So after I did that the first time, I felt, I think, more tired, even though vocally it's not quite as difficult as Rigoletto or Iago. I felt more sort of overall exhaustion from Falstaff than I did from the others.
Comedy's always
Yeah,
more
and
difficult
so
because it's,
yeah.
because it's more physical.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. It's much more physical. So
Now, have you done this particular production before?
no, I have not. I have not. I think this is my 5th production of Rigoletto, but this one's new.
So there are lots of steps, physically.
Yes, I believe that.
This.
We haven't been on the set yet in the theater, but from what I'm told and seen in the picture, yeah, there's plenty of steps. And of course, I have to go up it, oblong and sort of bent over and limping, which makes it more physically taxing as well. I can't just go up the steps like a normal person.
Yeah, exactly. I sat in on rehearsal last week, and there's something that I don't think we've ever addressed in one of our podcasts, and that is the concept of marking when you're rehearsing. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because you cannot sing full out for 3 weeks of rehearsals and then go on opening night and expect to be in tip-top shape.
Correct.
So can you talk, just address that a little bit so that our audience understands it a little better?
Right. So the term marking really means singing not full out, not really half voice, but either an octave down sometimes, or you sing the line in the right on the right staff, but you just don't give as much energy. And it actually is a really important skill to learn.
I would think,
for the very reasons you just mentioned, that you cannot sing full out. I can't. There are some singers who sing all the time, and I marvel at that, honestly. I guess it depends on the role. But there are moments in Rigoletto that I do sing as much as I can in rehearsals just because I need the repetition. I need to feel it in my body. I need the progression of the role. But not every time. So marking is a valuable skill to maintain and to learn. And I talk about that a lot with my colleagues and with my students too. So it allows you to get the staging into your body, the blocking, the character. You can still do all those things and give energy in the rehearsals, but not necessarily add that energy into the vocal production.
Yeah. It's the one thing that I think surprises people who are able to sit in on a rehearsal and not understanding, why doesn't that person have a bigger voice? They go stepping onto the Civic Theater at a 3,000 seat house. Well, it's this. It's this very technique that I think, as you say, helps save you energy and keeps you healthy.
And also, often the rooms in which we rehearse are not terribly great acoustically.
Right.
So you're not going to get the ping or the ring back from the theater, the acoustic that often you rely on when you're on stage. So you have to be careful to not give in that regard. There are people who sing too much in rehearsal, they get tired, or they can't hear themselves right, so they begin to do some things technically that aren't exactly what they should be doing.
Yeah.
So that's also the purpose of marking, is to keep yourself in your body within the role in the context of the vocal lines, but to not give too much, because you can't get the same kind of ambiance and energy back from the theater that you would on stage.
Now, you're doing all these great Verdi roles. Is there one that you haven't done yet that you'd like to do, that you're looking forward to doing?
I have yet to do Forza del Destino, or Nabucco. So those two are on my list to do.
You've done Macbeth.
I've done Macbeth once. I did it about 2.5 years ago with Michigan Opera Theater. And I would love to do that again. I would get my hands on that one again, because that's fantastic. And of course, the role is one of the greatest in all of English literature. So
who does Forza anymore?
Well, that's the thing.
It's
Not many people do.
This is the Force of Destiny, La Forza del Destino. Very, very rarely done. I've only seen it once in my life, and that was in the 80s at the Met. Ages and ages ago.
One of the last productions I knew about was Washington National Opera. That was a couple of years ago now, maybe even 3 or 4 or 5. But it's not done very often. So I'm hopeful it'll come along.
Are there roles coming up in the future, or is there something other than Verdi rep that excites you and that you're looking forward to?
Yes, actually. I'm in the fall going to be doing Sweeney Todd.
A first?
No, it's one of my favorite roles. I've done it probably 5 or 6 times.
Oh, great.
And that is just fun because it's lower. It's really a bass baritone, but it's not too bad. And I can really just concentrate on the character. Obviously, the singing is still somewhat operatic.
Absolutely,
Sondheim writes that way.
Yeah.
But it's just a fun show to be a part of, and the characters just
so great,
so incredibly fun to play.
Do you know who your Mrs. Lovett
She is a Broadway actress, and her name now escapes me. I'm so embarrassed to say.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
It's probably on their website.
Okay, well, we'll
Michigan
check that.
Opera Theater. Yeah,
we'll check. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that show.
It's great.
I can't get enough of it. It's
operatic in scope.
Absolutely.
Which is why a lot of opera companies do it.
And so much fun.
Oh, great.
And back to Rigoletto, rehearsals are going well?
Rehearsals are going very well. We have a great group of people.
It's a whole new team to me. I mean, I don't know anyone on the team except you.
Really?
So the Gilda, Elisa, is new to us.
She is. And
Scott, the Duke, is new to us.
Oh, Scott, yes. So a fun fact, Elisa, the first time I did Rigoletto in Cincinnati, she was the page. And she was still at CCM, I think, as a graduate student. So now we've come full circle a little bit, and she's now playing Gilda.
That's so
Her
great.
career's going very well. She's lovely.
But also a new conductor, Stephen, and a new director, Michael Cavanaugh. So it's wonderful to be bringing new folks back, into San Diego for the first time. And again, in rehearsal, I just felt this very positive energy about everyone working in such a positive and friendly way to
Yeah.
make this happen.
Exactly. Everybody's really very professional. We're all willing to do what we're asked and work with each other. Michael Cavanaugh is a great director. I worked with him once before. He's Canadian, but super organized, has the plan laid out, very easy to work with, and makes sense the way he puts it together. Stephen White, I've worked with before, great conductor, and the two of them together are working really nicely. They've combined in the rehearsal to have a nice camaraderie as well. So the whole process so far has been really delightful. Just everybody's. Scott Quinn, as first time I was supposed to sing with him last year in San Francisco, but that didn't happen. So now I'm finally getting to sing with him.
Yeah.
Lovely guy. Everyone's just really perfect.
Well, and I get the opportunity to interview each and every one of them this week, so I'm
Great.
really excited about that.
Very good.
So thank you, Stephen, for stopping in. We're all very much looking forward to having Rigoletto return, like you, an old friend coming back to the stage of the Civic Theater. Haven't seen Rigoletto in, I think it's been 10 or 12 years since we last did it. So
I'm thrilled to be here. I'm really,
exciting.
really happy about this.
Great. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.